That's what Hall of Famers do, and they do it for 2 decades. Greg Maddux makes you beat yourself. There's another double play. Jamie draws it, left center field, warning track, roll, gone. Now Ben Sheets fights for today to be his day, because last time it was Greg's for the 297th time. Border wars continue. The Chicago Cubs are in town going head-to-head with Milwaukie Brewers. And of course, it's a Tuesday night, which means it's time once again for Bill and Darren's Buckethead Brigade. This is a great rivalry. And as we talk about this rivalry, what we have to talk about tonight, partner, is the pitching matchup. Sheets against Maddux. It's going to be a whale of a time.
It was outstanding the last time the two got together in Wrigley Field. It was a little over 2 hours. Neither guy walks too many. These guys aren't hitting, so it should be a quick one. Got to get some runs tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to get some runs tonight. These folks, they came to win. That's the bottom line. It's been a very tough week for the Milwaukie Brewers. They haven't hit when they needed to. They haven't gotten it done. The bottom line, these guys can't. As of right now in baseball, there is only one king, Ben Sheets, though, vying to be the prince and fill the shoes by Greg Maddux. The last time these two matched up, July 17th, Sheets good. 7 innings, 2 runs, Maddux better. A complete game shutout, his first in 2 years, his 297th career victory. The big question is, does the prince knock off the king on this night? And if he does so, it'll be a special night. Maddux sniffing 300 victories. Since that outing, he won his 298th win. And he's ready to go for number 299. You bet. The right-hander is ready to go. It's Ben Sheets tonight against Greg Maddux. A whale of a matchup. Ben frustrated last time. No better way to put it, Bill. I think Ben was just a little bit frustrated. Healthy emotions, though.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Ben has been pitching so well. And again, sometimes, the effort just isn't good enough. He wants the results. He wants wins, not just for himself, but the ball club. When he came out of the game in Houston, he was ticked off, and rightly so, and it was good to see.
So Ben ready to go. Dusty Baker, 3-time National League Manager of the Year, wants to win that award again. He's got to get his club going offensively. They got just enough last night. Here's our Dodge starting lineup. It's Walker, Gonzalez, then it's Sammy. Alou, Lee, Ramirez, then it's Patterson, Baco, who always catches. Greg Maddux will take a look now at the numbers for right-hander Ben Sheets. Hard to argue with any of them.
Well, focus in on a couple of areas. ERA, #1 in baseball, 136 innings, and he's only given up 106 hits. He's been outstanding. 21 walks, 148 strikeouts, a 7-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. That's all you need to know about Ben Sheets. And he's been able to keep the ball in the ballpark this year. Last year, 25 home runs he allowed. Much better at that department this year.
We talk about all the strikeouts for Ben Sheets, but he needs his defense too, and a little bit of a change. Russell Branyan, who just joined the club yesterday, battling it with 26 home runs in AAA for Cleveland this year, is at third base in place of Wes Helms. There's our Rico defense, and it's Council Hall and Overbay. The outfield, Jenkins, Pasednik, Clark, and then Chad Moeller always catches Ben Sheets. There they are, the Buckethead Brigade. A little bit of a change on the t-shirts for those of you that are into that kind of thing. Wanted to let Cubs fans know exactly who those people are cheering for. You see the logo, not our mugs tonight, the Milwaukie Brewers. A great move there as the Brewers trying to get back on track. It has, as we documented in the open, been a tough week. It's been a tough month. The thing that keeps me optimistic, Bill, is that they still are pitching.
They're pitching, and the defense has been pretty good. They had a bit of a stumble in Houston in the defensive department, but if those things keep consistent, then the hitting should come around.
You hope so anyway. You certainly do at some point. Todd Walker leads it off. Ben Sheets fires a fastball away at 94 miles an hour, and we're underway. 11 home runs for Walker, who shares time with Grzelcyk at second base. Serve as a nice right-handed, left-handed combo. There's a fastball. There's strike one. Dale Scott works behind the plate tonight. He'll be calling balls and strikes for Ben Sheets and Greg Maddux. Good curveball skied. The question, is there room for Chad? Bowler goes as far as he can, then he runs out of space.
You know, I mentioned that last start was in Houston. It was actually in St. Louis, so the second game of that 2-game series against Jason Marquis. And the problem that Ben had was getting out of the bullpen and throwing strikes, good quality strikes. Gave up a couple of runs in the first inning, and that's all it took to beat him.
Wasn't happy about coming out of the game, although came out with no Mike DeJean-like show on the mound. And when he got in the dugout, he was a bit frustrated. That's what we're talking about. He's a guy that's passionate about winning. He wants to win. He wants his team to win. They've tasted it this year. And he won't chase the fastball. 2-2.
You know, I talked to Ben after his start in St. Louis, and I told him, I said, do you realize you didn't throw a pitch out of the strike zone until Scott Rowland's 0-2 pitch? And he's a number 4 hitter. He said he didn't realize that. And sometimes Ben can fall victim to throwing too many strikes. Okay to waste one once in a while, and you can see he's being a little bit more careful here tonight in the first. Pretty close. It looked like Walker was able to hold up.
His body, as it drifted forward, helped him hold up there. And he can't catch up with a 3-2 fastball that registers 96 miles an hour. Well, there go the questions about his velocity. That was being questioned the day after Ben pitched in the St. Louis newspapers. The Guns in-house had sheets at 84-85 his first 2 innings. He's already hit 96.
Something's wrong with those guns. I mean, if his velocity is going to be down, it might be 90, 91, 92. Not that low. I mean, 84, 85. You kidding me?
Count remains full. Let's see if he drops a curveball on him. He does, and Walker was ready for it.
And Todd Walker, a very tough out. He was replacing a guy that single-handedly almost beat the Brewers in yesterday's ball game. 3 hits. Grudzielanek, including a late inning base hit with a couple of runners on. But these guys at the top of the order have been swinging the bats pretty well.
Fastball lined in left center field. Could be extra bases. It is. All the way to the wall it goes. Walker's on his horse. Have fans will travel. The Chicago Cubs, they light him up early with a double.
Well, similar start to last night's ball game. Grudzielanek led off with a base hit. He was stranded in the first inning by Santos. You can see Walker lets that ball get back to about his midsection and then pounds it into the gap in left center. There it is. Top down. You can see the hands out in front of the bat, and he rifles it into left field. A good hitter hitting a pretty good pitch.
Now they have Alex Gonzalez back. He's been battling injuries. It's nothing that has been hidden this year. Now the ball off his hand when swinging the bat was out May 5th to July 19th. A little bit of little ball. Sacrifice bunt. Not a bad idea for Dusty's Baker Club, a club that has, it's been well documented, nearly half the time relied on the home run to score all of its runs.
You know, the Cubs were able to get on top of Ben in the start at Wrigley Field. Sammy Sosa with the first inning home run. The Cubs got a 1-0 lead, and that was all that Greg Maddux needed. Ben's got to try and figure out a way to keep this run from scoring, just for a psychological boost.
Sammy's done a nice job against Ben Sheets. 11 for 26 in his career, .423 batting average. He has homered 3 times. He has struck out 6 times. That's what Ben Sheets is looking for now. No doubt a strikeout.
Well, the pitch to Sammy right out of the ballpark at Wrigley Field against Ben was a high fastball. I mean, literally high, letter high, in the first inning. So he starts him off with a curveball.
Another curveball is about to follow on 0-1. And a dandy. It's 0-2. This is where Chad Moeller has choices. High fastball, lower curveball.
I'd be careful with a high fastball. I mean, that's a perfect location for a curve right on the outside corner. Bounce a curveball right here.
Runner at third. He's got to be ready to block it up if that's the case.
He will.
They're going to go high with the fastball on 0-2. Sosa lays off.
Show the fastball and throw strikes with the curveball.
2-2 the count on the man who has 559 career home runs. The good news for Ben Sheets, he has 2,046 career strikeouts. See if the curveball will get him on 2-2. He lays off.
I throw another one. I wouldn't give him a fastball for a strike. You got Moises Alou on deck. Good double play candidate. If you walk Sammy, so what?
Well, a nice boring game out of the gates tonight, huh, folks? He is going to throw him another one, and here it comes. Sosa lines it hard in the left field. It's down into the wall. Chicago Cubs lead it by a score of 1-0 for Sammy Sosa, his 1,496th career RBI. He's almost to 1,500.
No, and that's why he's able to do that, making adjustments. The pitch wasn't that bad. It was a curveball in 3-2. You wonder if Sammy was looking for it. Probably a little bit up in the strike zone, right down the middle of the plate, but still, as a 3-2 curveball, you know, tip your hat to Sammy Sosa. He stayed right on it and hit a rocket in the left. Big league hitters are going to make adjustments.
Ben Sheets angry after giving up that hit, as would you expect from most pitchers in this situation. Moises Alou, an all-star, as was Sosa. He lines it into left field. Sammy stopped at third base. Jeff fires it high over the head of the cutoff man. Alou couldn't advance.
Well, Moises Alou had his head down, figured, you know what, I got first base. I mean, if he was heads up, he might have been able to get the second on that. But still in all, he's standing at first, and the double play's still in order. Ben Sheets, for a second consecutive start, having a tough time in the first inning. You see that fastball. You don't want to pitch Moises Alou right there. I mean, that pitch right on the inner half of the plate, about belt high, and he ripped it in the left.
As that throw came in over the head of the cutoff man, first base coach Gene Kleins literally reached out and grabbed Alou. Got his attention to let him know where that throw was going. As you mentioned, Alou's head was down. He made physical contact to wake him up.
That should be an out. I mean, the coach can't touch a base runner or he's out.
Oh, he didn't. Thought he did.
If he did, I mean, the first base umpire is standing right there.
It was close.
Should have gone to second.
Sheets also allowed 2 runs in the first inning in that St. Louis start. And Lee swings right through a good fastball. Dusty Baker, when asked about the red-hot Derek Lee, who has homered now 9 times this month, said, "I'm loving it." He theorized he's going to get better the next 2 months. He said pitchers get more innings, they get more tired. He said, for my money, Derek is his strongest as I've seen him all season long right now.
Oh, you got to be careful with him. Out over the plate, down in the strike zone. Notorious low ball hitter.
Former member of the Marlins with that slightly open stance. He quickly closes it up.
Yeah, that's the pitch that he has problems with. I mean, not to say he's not going to hit one, but if you get that ball down about 3-4 inches, he's going to give it a good ride. And a slight uppercut, big tall guy. Was he 6'5"?
6'5".
Good leverage, and you get a ball down out over the plate on him, and he's going to give it a good poke.
Hit a curveball out to right center field last night. Curveball that he stayed back on nicely and drove it the other way.
Check out the location. It's going to be pretty much right down the middle of the plate, but it's down and out over the plate, just like we were talking about, and a very good approach. Tie him up and in. But you got to be careful.
He doesn't chase. When a guy is going right, according to Dusty Baker, and Bill, you've documented it with Lyle Overbay, they don't chase as much.
No, they're seeing the ball. What comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Do you see it first and then get hits, or you start hitting and then you see the ball? Patient.
Hit hard. On strike again. It's 2-0 Chicago. That is 4 hits on this inning for the Chicago Cubs against the Brewers ace Ben Sheets.
And they are pulling the baseball. All the hits coming to left field, and that pitch was down in the strike zone. Very dangerous spot to pitch Derek Lee. And you know what Ned Yost is thinking right now? Wow, 2 runs.
Greg Maddux.
The way my offense is swinging the bat. I mean, that's almost identical to the spot that Santos threw him that curveball yesterday when he hit the home run, down and away. Off the end of the bat and an RBI single.
Sheets, not a ground ball pitcher, not anymore. Would love one right now as he misses in with a fastball. The ERA of Ben Sheets at 2.45, the very best in Major League Baseball. Climbing right now, though. There's a fastball. There's a strike. The Milwaukee Brewers start play tonight at 48-50, 2 games below 500. Losers of 3 consecutive games. The Cubs 40, or I should say 53-46. Cubs comfortably in that wild card race now. Brewers not so much after the last month of baseball. Hit hard, counts and leaves his feet. Can they get to it? Yes. Aramis Ramirez hit it right on the screws, but Alou doubled off the bag. Cubs strike first. It's 2-0. Time to get something going against the future Hall of Famer. Buckethead Brigaders, and also, by the way, a packed house. Sold out Miller Park. Ned Yost, Brewers manager, hoping that he can get something going offensively. He looks to Russell Branyan tonight to help. He can't do it all. It's Besednik, Counsell, and Jenkins, and it's Branyan over Brady Clark, who has been hot. It's Hall, Moeller, and Sheets. Our Dodge starting 9 against a man who is going for his 299th Major League victory, Greg Maddux.
And after a season, he was pretty mediocre with an ERA of 4.03, but his last couple of starts have been outstanding, including that shutout complete game against the Milwaukee Brewers at Wrigley Field. Starting to sniff 300 and shifting into a high overdrive right now.
I've seen it happen before as a youngster. You get close to a milestone, you get younger. That's what Greg Maddux is doing as he misses to Scott twice. Maddux last outing against Cincinnati. Complete game, back-to-back complete games. He beat the Reds 13-2. He did it in 92 pitches. Scott lifts it the other way. Scott Besednik is retired, now 1 for 8 in his career against Greg Maddux. Let's take a look at the Cubs defense, and when you play on the infield, you're busy. That's just the bottom line. Aramis Ramirez, Alex Gonzalez, and that man, Todd Walker, who must make the plays. It's also Derek Lee, a Gold Glover. Alou, Patterson, Sosa in the outfield. Paul Bacco, the personal catcher, if you will, the man who always works with Greg Maddux. Greg Counsell has 7 career hits against Maddux with just a .219 batting average as he lines it into right field. So the Brewers answer right back, trying to get something going against Greg.
Well, one of the things that Butch Weiniger said that he wants his hitters to do is very similar to what the Brewers did against Roger Clemens in Houston. He said attack early, because a lot of times that first strike you're going to see is the best pitch. If he gets ahead of you, then all of a sudden he's going to start nibbling, and right there down the middle in, and Counsell able to rip it into right. So look for the Brewers to attack early again tonight.
Jeff Jenkins would like to do that after a night in which he was 0 for 3. Admitted today that he overswung on a couple of occasions, trying to get something going. Counsell took off.
And he had that one stolen. Boy, Maddux didn't even give him a look, and he had a big old jump over there at first base. I think Jeff would have been better just to let that one go and hit with a man at second base. That would have been no chance for Paul Bacco.
So the slugger settles back in. He has 5 career hits in 21 at-bats against Maddux. As we peek in from the Buckethead Brigade. He goes again, and Jenkins again fouls it off.
That's everything you have to do against Greg Maddux is go on the attack. You can't sit back and wait for 3 or 4 base hits in an inning. Very rarely is he going to allow you to do that. Send the runner, get a runner in scoring position, maybe get the infield moving around a little bit, and the ground ball will find the outfield.
You have the feeling that you like to get it going with your base runners against Maddux for a couple of reasons. Number 1, he's very focused on the hitter. Number 2, he's pitching well. And number 3, you have to stay out of the double play. line in the left field. That's a base hit. And what a wonderful approach with no balls and 2 strikes. Good to see Jeff doing that.
That's what you're talking about. You know, Greg Maddux throws a lot of strikes, just like Ben Sheets. That one a little bit too good on a 0-2 pitch. Remember last time Greg Maddux threw against the Brewers at Wrigley, what was it, 17 or 18 ground ball outs?
17.
And there's a pitch right down the middle, and Jenkins, a good approach with 2 strikes, just trying to find the outfield. Important contact, right, even with that body, right off of that front foot. And hits it to the opposite field. Good at bat for Jeff.
Here's Russell Branyan, the newest member of this club, who pinch hit last night. You see what he's done in his big league career. 70 home runs combined with Cleveland and Cincinnati. If he can put the ball in play, has the ability, if he plays every day, to be a 30-40 guy. Just has never ever reached that potential. Too many strikeouts.
Yeah. That's another one of those things. I mean, do you get the playing time and then the home runs come, or do you start swinging the bat and get the playing time? Russell Branyan needs to get a lot of at bats. He's not the kind of guy that just come off the bench, you know, once or twice a week, or get 1 start a week and be productive. At least he hasn't been that way in the early part of his career. Good change.
Big swing of the man out of Warner Robins, Georgia. Talking with Ned Yost before the game about Russell Branyan, he was pretty non-committal at this point. But he did say, in a perfect world, I would like to give him a couple of days to get settled in and play some third base. It's no secret, Wes Helms, power-wise, has really been struggling. That one bounces in there. That one kicks away from Baco. Runners on second and third. Now you've got to get 1.
Got to get 2. You got to get
there
greedy. You know, it's time to get greedy here in Milwaukee. 1's not enough. I mean, it's time for the Brewers to just break out and put up, you know, double digits one of these days. And Greg Maddux with a rare breaking ball, and Paul Baco wasn't sure how to hold that glove. It got by him. So a base hit may in fact score 2.
Branyan with big power numbers in the minor leagues this year. 26 home runs in AAA. And a big swing there. It was back in 2001 with Cleveland that Branyan in 113 games hit 20. 2 years later, in 134 games, he hit 24. No denying he can hit it out. He also struck out about a quarter of the time in the big leagues. He says, Bill, and you were touching on this a moment ago, that he's a bit of a changed man. He said this year he learned a lot about himself, and he's getting closer to the end as he sees it. You know, you can only get so many opportunities in the major leagues.
Well, that kind of power, he's going to get some chances, no doubt.
Got him with a changeup. Branyan strikes out for the 451st time in his major league career, but he's not alone against a changeup like that.
Not too many breaking balls. It's predominantly fastball changeup for Greg Maddux, but everything moving. Hides the ball in the glove very well. I'll tell you what, that ball not even close to the hitting zone, and that bat through the strike zone already.
You could hear him on the bench say, pick up a double. Well, Lyle's got 38 of them this year. And he takes a fastball, strike 1. In that game at Wrigley Field, that was the first time Lyle had ever faced Greg Maddux. He was 2 for 3. Getting 348 in the month of July. The changeup dives out of the zone. And then there's that. Team, by the way, 6-1 on a night when the fans in that section wear funky t-shirts on Buckethead Brigade Tuesdays.
All right, good karma tonight.
He lays off another changeup. It's 2-1.
There's been a couple of big comebacks in that category on Tuesday nights. That's what we're looking for tonight. Not a big one yet, but a comeback.
And he lays off once again. 3-1 the count on Overbeck.
Boy, it it's so hard to lay off that pitch. I mean, it looks out of the hand like that's a mistake. You're thinking as a hitter, he shouldn't have thrown that, but then all of a sudden it just dies as it gets to the plate. By design, everything he does.
Inside, ball 4 on a fastball.
And that was by design as well, walking Lyle Overbay. You know, Greg Maddux, not one of those guys that needs to get the intentional walk. He knows he's not going to allow Overbay to beat him in that situation. He's going to put him on and make Brady get the base hit.
Well, he's facing a man who's red hot, and Greg is well aware of that. Nobody does his homework, or he is pretty much unmatched in preparation, Greg Maddux. So he knows that Brady Clark hitting .435 in the midst of a 3-game hitting streak. He's been raking since the All-Star break. Clark fights it off. Brady also 2 for 4 against Maddux. This is what he's done in the last week and a half. All the numbers good. You can split it up however you want.
Manufactured a run pretty much by himself in yesterday's ball game.
Hates the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. And for a right-handed hitter, or if you're left-handed, at times you might give up because it looks away. That's when he's got you. Consider that Maddux has allowed 22 home runs this year, as you see that Clark has never hit a grand slam. Dale Scott letting everyone know that Brady Clark just called timeout. That's why he's on the verge of 299 victories. On a Buckethead Brigade Tuesday, a classic pitching matchup, and Ben Sheets touched early in this ball game, as he was against the St. Louis Cardinals. 2 runs in the first. Last time out, 2 runs in the first. This time out. Now there are times where that's all you'll get against Ben. We'll see if that's one of those nights. That's what you can say against great pitchers. Get them when they have their guard down, even though they're not meaning to, because that might be all you get.
Oh, and you talked to Ben. I mean, even when he was on a roll, when he wasn't giving up any runs, I mean, the time when he struggled the most was the first inning. A lot of your good pitchers have problems early.
Driven into the corner. Clark going a long way. Did he make the play? We lost him and he caught it. Look at the play by Brady Clark. Disappearing into the corner. You betcha, Brady. Nice.
Well, the advantage of playing deep in the outfield. This is one of the advantages right here. What a play.
Oh, man.
Well, sliding into the wall so that he doesn't really lose a lot of speed. He's still able to get there and catches it just in front of it, just before it hits the ground. Nice play. Well, Brady Clark made a couple of really nice, strong throws into the infield in yesterday's ball game. I asked him before the ball game, I said, where do those throws come from? And I said, you know what he said? He said, I've always had a good arm. And I said, well, I wasn't saying you don't have a good arm. I said, they were great throws. Where'd they come from? He said, are you getting on me? It's tough to compliment players these days.
You know, it's interesting. You and I separately, because we don't go arm in arm through the locker room, talked with them about that very subject. I talked with them about the throws too. That one just missed. Not quite sure where. 1 and 2 the count. And Brady's response to me was, it's coming, which led me to believe that maybe his arm wasn't feeling so good early in the year. Overbay, Sheets, Baco retired.
Well, you know, you find little shots of adrenaline when you have this kind of a crowd, particularly with a crowd that's really against you at home. I mean, it pumps you up quite a bit. I mean, it's all a matter of how you use that. I mean, you get too pumped up. In baseball, you have to be able to relax and play your game. But, you know, this kind of a crowd and this kind of environment will pump a guy up, and he'll be able to do things he normally won't be able to do. Or at least he'll try.
Ben Sheets facing Greg Maddux. Maddux 5 hits this year, 128 batting average. 5 for 39, and he has struck out just 6 times. He puts in play. 1-1 the count. You know you've pitched for a long time in the National League when you have 1,300 at bats. And he puts it in play again. Counsell throws him out. Cubs maybe are done getting to Ben Sheets. The Brewers now to get it going. And a Hall of Famer. And don't forget to celebrate the memories of another Hall of Famer, the Igniter, with apparel from the Paul Molitor collection as he headed to the Hall of Fame this past Sunday. Shop the Fan Zone in Miller Park or see the full line ropesbaseball.com. Hall lines that one into the seats. 0-1 the count on Bill Hall. 264, 6 home runs, 33 RBIs. Billy's just walked 10 times though and 201 at bats. That won't start tonight though against Greg Maddux.
Yeah, Greg Maddux only walks hitters when he wants to walk them. I mean, he throws too many strikes. And good quality strikes. I mean, not to say he's been doing that all season long. He's had kind of a lean period this year. But not now, as we talked about. Sniffing 300 wins. I mean, these pitches are right on the corners. Like that. 2 years ago, that's a strike for Greg Maddux. Used to get, he and Tom Glavine with the Atlanta Braves used to get 2 or 3 inches off the outside corner. Doesn't happen anymore.
That is strike 3. It's mechanical preparation. It is mental preparation. He is as ready as any pitcher in the game when he takes his mound. Just ask his catcher, Paul Bacco.
He does as much or more homework than anybody that I've ever caught, as far as going over the hitters and watching the tapes and watching what they've done against him in the past. You know, he does a lot on his own, whereas some guys rely on the pitching coach to do it, you know. But he does a lot of that on his own and knows what he wants to do to each hitter every time he faces him, for sure.
Boy, what a good gig, huh, Paul Bacco? I mean, he puts his glove in a certain place, and I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, he doesn't have to move it for Greg Maddux. Catchers love that. And, you know, as prepared as Greg Maddux is in the ballgame, it's equally important for Bacco or whoever's catching Maddux to be just as prepared, because Maddux doesn't want to stand out there shaking off all night.
Bowler gives it a ride. Deep left field. Alou drifting back. He's got room. Just stayed in here at Miller Park. You can see a look of disgust on the face of Greg Maddux. And interesting.
Stayed in the ballpark. He's given up 22 home runs this year. If there's a problem that he's had this year, he's given up the long ball.
Ben Sheets pops it up right side. Walker. 1, 2, 3 go the Milwaukee Brewers against Greg Maddux as he seeks 299. Sammy. Chicago leading it. Ben Sheets trying to stop it right there, top of the 3rd inning. Tonight on the Best of Sports Show period, Lakers legend Magic Johnson drops by to tell us what he thinks of LA's crazy offseason and what's up for next year. Plus, former baseball GM Jim Bowden stops in to help us break down the latest trade rumors and to analyze the playoff race in both leagues. It's the Best Sports Show period tonight at 11 on FSN North. Sheets to Walker. Walker deep into the corner it goes. By. Tell you what, have fans will travel. That is the moniker that is attached to the Chicago Cubs when they play here at Miller Park.
Everywhere they go, there's a smattering of Cub fans. There's a breaking ball up in the strike zone, and it doesn't matter which leadoff hitter the Cubs put up there, Grzelcyk or Walker, they're going to get the job done. This Cub team can hit a lot of home runs. They have all year, and they've been responsible for most of the runs they've scored. At least almost 44%. That's a lot.
1-1 the count on Alex Gonzalez for Ben Sheets. That is the 14th home run he has given up this year. 12 of them have been solo shots, 2 coming with runners on. Both of these pitchers tonight don't walk anyone, number 1. And number 2, when they give up the long ball, it rarely comes with anybody on.
Well, Ben coming in and only giving up 106 hits in 136 innings, so very good hits to innings pitched ratio.
Let's go out to Bob Brainerd, who is trying to get things going, running This Is Your Life in the Buckethead Brigade.
This is scary, actually. This is Colleen Lavin, went to high school with me at Brookfield Central High School, class of '79, so you can do the math. So Colleen walks up to me with this bucket created by you. Thanks, Colleen. How'd you do it?
It took a lot of time and effort, and it was a lot of fun. Go Lancers!
I'll tell you what, guys. This is just, I don't know if this is a good rally bucket or not. The 70s tie, the nice hairdo. I don't know if it's going to do any good, Colleen. Are you going to be at the reunion next week?
Sure.
Do not wear the bucket, though, please.
I won't. I'll keep the bucket away. I promise. I'll give it to you at the end if you want it.
You see, all I wanted was the bobblehead, guys. And now it's come to this.
You have arrived now, Bob Brainerd. You have arrived.
Ask Colleen if Bob was the ladies' man back in high school. Maybe get some dirt on him in high school.
Sosa lifts that one into the seats. 1-2 the count on Sammy Sosa. Sammy doubled in a run and scored a run back in the first inning. Quickly approaching 1,500 career RBIs. And that curveball misses. Talking with Sosa, or I should say with Baker before the game about Sosa being far away from the plate. That one misses outside. He says, and this is a quote, "I have my own ideas about it. When a guy's had that much success, it's hard to tell him what to do. Sometimes you have to fail before you listen." I don't know if he failed there. High and deep and gone. The 560th home run in the Hall of Fame career of Sammy Sosa. Folks, it is 4-0 against Ben Sheets.
In the third inning. I mean, usually that's about the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, 4 runs. 3-2 fastball in the first inning, or I should say 3-2 curveball in the first inning, a double. 3-2 fastball here in the third. Knocked it out of the ballpark to the opposite field. And that ball just jumps off his bat. And you see the point of contact. That ball wasn't on the outer half of the plate. It was middle in, and Sammy taking it to right field.
Going back to the work that Sosa and Baker have done together, and a very direct quote if you want to read between the lines. Did he look a little bit closer to you? I mean, you can't tell from there.
No, he wasn't closer. I was looking. His back heel yesterday, almost in the back corner of the box. That's in the same spot today.
Alou goes down on strikes, flips his bat in the air, and then picks it up. It's a good look from Moises Alou. 2 outs.
He's still chirping at the first base umpire. Again, very rarely, getting back to Sammy Sosa, very rarely do you see a hitter with his back heel in the back corner of the box. That's an awful long way from home plate. And every move he makes, right toward the pitcher, right toward the outside part of the plate, you got to jam him. You got to get him hard stuff up and in. Ben tried to do that, but he left it out over the plate, and that's the result. That's why it's so tough to do. He's just a good hitter.
Does it sound to you like his manager would like him a little bit closer to the plate?
Maybe. Sounds like it. Who knows? I don't think Sammy's in any position to change at this point.
And I think that's the point he's making. 1-2 the count on Derek Lee.
I mean, why would you change him at this point? My goodness.
Broken bat, dying into center field. Scotty coming on. Scotty Poe rolling, diving play. But Couple of home runs in the inning, one by Walker, one by Sammy, the 560th of his career. All Cubs early. 1 ball, no strike count on Scott Posednik. The Cubs up 4-0. Greg Maddux going back to work against the Brewers leadoff hitter. Drops down a bunt. That's a man with 13 gold gloves. 1 out.
Yeah, he moves around pretty well off that mound. Oh, Scotty trying to bunt it by Maddux and just deadened it a little bit too much. Not a bad idea to get something going.
Hey, we hope you're with us. Sorry about that, partner. Our upcoming television schedule. The Chicago Cubs will be with you. Brought to you by Miller. Then we'll be with you on Friday. Come on out on the weekend, not on television. Then next week against the Mets. Your thoughts continue.
I was going to say the last thing you want to do, you don't want to go up there if you're the Brewers right now and just try to hit every ball to the ballpark. You need base run. I mean, get something going. Drop down a bunt, take some pitches. I mean, that's kind of a double-edged sword. If you take too many pitches with Maddux, you know what happens. He's going to paint you on the corners, but continue to get good quality at bats. Just fill the bases, and hopefully, sooner or later, the Brewers are going to start getting the hits with men on base.
Correct me if I'm wrong. 0 for 2 this point in the game with runners in scoring position.
Yes.
0 for 2 and 10 for 94 with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break. That average, just about an even 100, almost there.
And the Cubs can complain about the same type of clutch hitting, but what they have going for them, as we talked about, the long ball. If you're not going to hit with runners in scoring position, you got to hit the home run. Dusty Baker's group does that.
Slider darts inside, and the count 3-1 on Craig Counsell. Might have even heard it just a few moments ago. Greg Maddux with one of those mini outbursts. Covered him for a couple of years in Atlanta. You get used to it, then it's over. Maybe it's one word, then he's done. He's got incredible composure. Catcher's interference again. Is that 5?
That's 5 for Craig. That's an error on the catcher, Paul Bacco.
Wow.
Interference, no at bat for Craig Counsell.
That is 5 times catcher's interference.
Have we seen any other hitter in the game that we've done do that this year?
Oh no, oh no. That hasn't happened against the Brewers. You mean an opposing hitter?
Anybody.
Nor any other Brewer.
Anybody but Craig. No, I don't think so.
Whatever it takes. By the way, the previous record, which Counts blew by a while ago, 3 for a Brewers season, set by Paul Molitor back in 1991. Craig's got 5.
Yeah. Well, the reason for that, the catcher has a tough time figuring out where to set up with Craig Counsell at the plate. I mean, he's got that exaggerated high bat, and all of a sudden then the pitcher starts his delivery, and then he has a different spot altogether. I mean, his hands are in a different spot, so a lot of times the catcher will set up a little bit too close. Compound with that with the fact that he's always trying to hit the ball to the left, which means he swings very late by design.
Boy, Craig thought about it, saw the pitch out, and threw out the anchor. Is there an art or a science, Bill, to when you give up that pitch out, let the base runner know you're hopping from behind the plate?
Well, you got to be very late, and the other thing, the pitcher can't be too overly quick to home plate. I tell you, Craig, you better be careful stealing bases down by 4 runs. You got to be pretty confident you're going to be able to make it.
The first, wow, fair ball. That's an out. That's an out. Very close right there, hugging the line, called a fair ball. And it's just another double play for Greg Maddux. 345 in his career.
Third baseman, first baseman, minor leagues, wherever you play. Nice job.
I noticed he didn't get any coaching or assistance from the guys in the gray uniform.
That's some cool shades on, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, the yellow tinted shades. Guys say that they wear those in twilight, or maybe when it's a little bit hazy out. Everything brightens up with those. I see Bill Hall's wearing them as well. So actually wear the sunglasses that actually brighten things up. What do they think of next?
Isn't it amazing how that works? I wonder if it can just brighten your perspective on life.
Well, they might not do anything. They just look good. I mean, Russell Brandon looks great in those glasses. Doesn't he?
I think it's a dashing look. I think it's very dashing. Is that where you're going?
Dashing's a good word.
Let's go back to that Craig Counsell catcher's interference, and as he reached, the Brewers couldn't convert 5 times this year. What are some of the reasons? What did you see?
Well, let's just try and figure this out. I mean, sometimes there's no explaining anything, but the way Craig Counsell sets up initially, the way he picks that bat up, and now there he is right here. This is where his bat is right now. Now as you roll it, you're going to see the way he brings everything back, and watch the hands. The hands are going to come down and back a little bit. And to make matters worse, he likes to make contact back here, making Baco reach for the baseball. That's why I think he gets those catchers interference.
And he made Baco reach for the bag as he grounded out to end the inning. Chicago up 4-0. Let's get it going. See if the light in your brain is on as we welcome you back. 4-0 the score. Our Aflac trivia question. The light is on in the heavens for sure as the moon shines brightly as it reflects the sun. Which brother combination? Oh, this is a good one. Has the most wins in Major League history? Could it be the Maddux brothers? Could it be? Russell Branyan leads it off, pounds it off his foot. What an interesting night and last couple of series it must be for Mike Maddux. His job is to prepare his team to beat brother Greg Maddux, and yet they're very close. That's the real deal, their friendship. You can see it. And he looks on as his brother marches toward history. Maybe one of the last pitchers to ever win 300 games.
Yeah, maybe. But I tell you, Mike Maddux, Greg Maddux, probably, you know, they walk hand in hand all day in Milwaukee, but once you get to the ballpark, it all ends. Mike Maddux would like nothing better than for his team to beat his brother handily. No doubt. And then they get together after the game and talk about it.
Rolled onto the ground once again. Bobble recovers and he throws him out. We talked with Mike Maddux about what makes good pitchers great. Of course, we're talking about his brother.
Are we afraid of success? You know, we all have a fear of failure. Do we have a fear of success? And I think that the guys that get over the hump, use their talents that were given to them to their maximum ability are the ones that succeed and go on to prosper, you know, all-star games, Hall of Fames, things like that, guys who maximize their ability. Until we're willing to take a chance and see what our parameters are, we never know how good we can be. How do we do that? Probably with experience. How do you get experience? By keeping your nose to the grindstone when you're a young guy and showing progress time and time and time and time and time and time, because a career is not one or 2 years. It's a lifelong issue.
And that's exactly what Mike Maddux did in his career. I mean, had a nice long career. Certainly didn't have the numbers that his brother had been able to put up, but both very much students of the game. And Mike Maddux doing a nice job with the Brewer pitching staff this year.
Not wanting anything to this point to do with Lyle Overbay. Very deliberate as he drills the outside corner. 3-1.
You know, not too many people talk about in this game the fear of success. It's an interesting concept, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You always get those kind of things from Mike Maddux. Something that, you know, he'll answer a question and you're not sure if he even answered your question, but then it gives you something else to think about.
That one is run down in center field by Corey Patterson. Lyle gave it a ride. Yes, Corey, there are 2 outs. We will answer our Aflac trivia question. Aflac! You maybe think it's the Madduxes. They've done an awful lot between the 2 of them. Brother combination, but if you said the Negros, then you're right, and it's very close. Don't forget about Gaylord and Jim Perry.
The Deans.
How about Pedro Martinez with his brother Ramon? That should be an interesting list. If you have time, we'll roll it up and let you take a look. On the inside corner, strike 1 to Brady Clark. One of the rare fly ball outs that Greg Maddux will induce. He'll do it. He'll gladly put you away, but when he's truly on his game, it's on the ground.
More of him tonight than he gave up in Wrigley Field, that's for sure.
There's a ground ball out, flag. Ramirez fires. Greg Maddux rolling toward his 299th career.
The double-headed Bill dolls, huh?
Couple of Bills.
Well, Bill during the week and then Bill during the weekend on FSN North.
Nice.
Tie and no tie.
That is a good-looking double Bill bobblehead.
How does that happen? I mean, that's a. Do they send those back?
There is a margin of error, we are told, that they throw in. This is according to Director of Broadcasting Tim Van Wagner. For every blank you order, they throw in an extra blank that may either break in shipment or maybe double-headed like that. Somewhere out there early in the first few weeks is even scarier. Thought there was a two-headed Darren at one point. So that's the second one that's been uncovered.
Two-headed monster, huh?
Well, I've been called that quite a bit.
I mean, both of us.
I have been called that quite a bit. But yeah, that the bobblehead doll, raising money for Brewers charity. Not many pitchers lay off that pitch, by the way.
No. That's a good idea up the plate. You mentioned that he had 1,300 at-bats, and that means he's had a lifelong career. And the other thing about that is it's not just 1 or 2 at-bats to start either. I mean, this guy probably 3 or 4 a night every time he's out there. I mean, a lot of complete games. He pitches deep into the ball game. And he was on some pretty good offensive clubs, I might add.
As you were saying, for Greg Maddux, that is the 230th base hit in his major league career. And now Todd Walker walks toward the plate. Walker is having a great night. He doubled in the first, and he homered in the third. Here's Maddux.
Surprised me if that's a pitcher. I mean, nice level swing. That was a breaking ball that Ben gave him. Not exactly any real power behind that swing, but it got the job done with 2 strikes.
No surprise with Greg Maddux out there running his bases that a lot of pleasantries being exchanged between he and Lyle Overbeck. A lot of times you get position players that get out there. Sean Casey's a guy who loves to chat. Not when you're on the mound trying to sit that man down next to him. Catch up later.
Oh, what does a pitcher say to a first baseman who hasn't got any base hits? Just got to hit himself. The game's easy, isn't it, Lyle? Just got me a hit. Yeah, right, Greg.
0-2 the count. Now it's 1-2 on Walker. Walker picked on a curveball. That's what he hit out back in the third. Last night it was Grizzolonic, and Grizzolonic had a great night. Had 3 hits, had a couple of RBIs. Tonight it's Walker. Changeup right under his bat, and yes, it was a changeup with a downward movement. Not a bad pitch at all.
I tell you, Todd Walker hit the breaking ball, he hit the fastball, so Ben's saying, all right, here's a changeup, see if you can hit that. Try anything to get these guys out.
Alex Gonzalez gives it a ride, deep left field, playable though. Jenkins just shy of the wall, hauls it in.
Down on the trademark just enough to keep it in the ballpark.
He had some good hacks last night too, though, didn't he?
Yes, he did. One of those table setters. He didn't get a base hit, but he hit the ball pretty well. Flied out deep to left last night. Center field. Yeah, he swinging about well, but nothing to show for it, as we talked about.
Sammy Sosa's had a big night. Double, RBI. And he homered. As that pitch misses wide. Sosa climbing that average against Ben Sheets now has 13 hits and 28 career at bats with 4 home runs. One and one the count. Fastball. It's 1-2. The last run scored in support of Ben Sheets Came in the 8th inning of a game July 10th against Cincinnati. 17 in the 3rd innings it has gone now since the Brewers have scored Ben a run. He's got to keep it right here.
That's where you need to pitch Sammy Sosa. I mean, he gets all tied up in there. Well, considering how far he is from home plate, you would figure he would just hammer that pitch on the inside corner. But watch his first move. Right toward the first baseman, and that pitch right there looks like it's going to hit him.
That's strike 3 on the outside corner. Sosa goes down on strikes. Sammy 2 for 3 tonight. Double homer and now a strikeout. The Brewers have got to find a way to get it going. But also going for brotherly win number 338 tonight. Greg and Mike Maddux. There are the brother duos. And the Clarkson family with 3 involved. And there you see the list. Pedro and Ramon, they are on that list.
Dad didn't have a name?
Just his name. His dad.
John, Dad, and Walter. Dad Clarkson, that was his name?
Big fan.
What year did he play?
No, I haven't gotten far enough on that one. I'll get back with you.
You don't have to look it up. We got R&D. Where are they? I mean, they're where, are they getting food? They're gone.
I think he's at the keg. Want to know the count on Bill Hall.
R&D can't leave.
Breaking ball, nips the outside corner. 1-1 the count on Bill Hall. It's Hall, Moeller, and Sheets against Greg Maddux. Just missed. Maddux is looking for the 3rd consecutive complete game, and that just doesn't happen as he gets a bit older. 38 years old this year. Last time he pitched 3 in a row, 1998. 6 years ago against Toronto, Tampa Bay, and Florida when he was pitching for the Atlanta Braves. Mike and Greg, as Greg 5 years older, used to play a lot of pickup games as kids. Father David was a senior master sergeant in the Air Force. They traveled all over the world, but they always loved baseball. On the mound, look at it. Let's go to Bob Brainerd, who is standing by with a story about the man who's heading to the Hall of Fame.
Well, Darren and Bill, 300 may be a big deal in baseball, and it is. But if you talk to Greg Maddux about it, it really is. In fact, when he gets to number 300, glove to Hall of Fame, which is usually the norm for a 300 victory, but Greg says he's going to keep his glove. He's got at least 10 or 15 more starts left in it, so he's going to hang on to it at least through the year. Now, if you also want to find out more about his brother, go to Mike, and he'll turn you down as well. Neither one of these guys wants to talk about it, and Mike, out of respect, says he won't talk about it. I did ask, here's up your brother, what gets him excited if this does it? And he said, family. It's the one thing that keeps him grounded, lets him get away from the baseball bubble for a little bit.
Well, and that's the truth. Having seen Greg Maddux for a couple of years in Atlanta, he is loving being a dad, loves being a husband, loves to golf in the wintertime, just escape. He is truly a jeans and t-shirt homebody. He's home in Las Vegas. Moeller right over the top of that one.
And he loves to sit in that dugout and just, grab anybody he can. I mean, it might be a bat boy in a visiting team and on the road, and just talk. Are you a hitter? Are you a pitcher? And then watch the game a little bit, and he'll give the guy a little bit of advice. I mean, it's amazing to watch Greg Maddux do what he does.
One and two the count on Moeller. Another ground ball. Can it find green grass? You bet. You're talking about it, Bill. Greg Maddux. He's a great pitcher. You can learn if you're a pitcher, but exactly what you're talking about, you can learn from Greg Maddux if you're a hitter. Listen to Paul Bachman.
Yeah, probably just listen to him on the bench and stuff. He'll see how a pitcher's trying to attack a hitter, and what the hitter's holes are and stuff. I mean, obviously his command and his and his pitches are exceptional. But like I said, it's what he sees on the field and the ballpark every day that's obviously helped him throughout the years too.
Well, it's amazing. You mentioned he's been a hitter in the big leagues over 1,300 times. How many guys has he faced? He's a student of the game. He watches video, and certainly he more than able for a guy to go up there and as a hitter and they ask him, what am I doing? What should I be thinking here? You know this pitcher. What kind of stuff is he going to give me? Greg Maddux knows an awful lot about everything, just not pitching.
Won the count on Scott Posednik.
Or rather, better said, not just pitching. Good guy to have on the club. You know that if he chooses, he'll be a pretty good coach someday.
I don't know if he'll so choose. He's maybe done enough coaching throughout his career as a player. He might want to disappear. His brother has got the coaching bug. I don't know, though. By the way, Dad Clarkson pitched from 1891 to 1896 with the Giants, the Cardinals, the Orioles, and my old favorite team, the Bean Eaters. 39-39 career record. He had 63 complete games and an ERA of 4.9. Thank you very much.
4.9 was pretty high back then.
Yeah, but he sucked it up and finished the games, didn't he?
Wow.
I guess everyone finished games, though. You started and you finished. That's what you did.
I think the record in Major League Baseball, 70-some complete games one year. Can you imagine?
That one missed inside. If you didn't catch all of Bob Brainerd there, I know he cut out just a bit. The point he was making was that Greg Maddux, Mike Maddux, pretty protective of one another and how he approaches and attacks things. And he got him with a slider, saying that Mike doesn't really want to talk about his brother, doesn't want to go into his secrets to success. Beverages, our Toyota game summary. They get it done with the home run. That's how the Cubs have been doing it all season long. Tonight, not really a big difference.
Going to get Todd Walker. That happened in the third inning, and a couple of batters later, Sammy Sosa taking a 3-2 fastball to the opposite field. Ben Sheets touched up early. 6 hits and 4 runs in the first 3 innings. Don't see that very often.
The last time we saw Moises Alou, he had flipped the bat in the air right at home plate, then picked it up and walked away. He was called out by the first base umpire. He said that he went around. Ramon Armendariz, is that correct?
Yes, it is. He's a minor league umpire that is filling in for.
I don't remember. You said it last night.
Bill Miller on vacation.
Nice job, Russell Branyan. Branyan to the Cubs dugout earlier, leaning over the rail right there. Nice quick feet.
Well, playing back with Moises Alou, not figuring he's going to bunt. Gives you a little bit more time to react to this ball. Still in all, nice play.
This guy's going to get some at bats to get settled in.
Yep. I mean, that's been his history.
Strike one to Derek Lee.
You know, like a lot of power hitters, guys who can hit the ball a long way, they have to get the at-bats, and they might go for a while without doing much, maybe 5-6 days, and all of a sudden, one of those hot streaks, one of those streaks that, Brewer fans and we waiting for Jeff Jenkins to get into. Russell Branyan can do the same thing, but he has to get the plate appearances. Not sure he's going to be able to get them.
Sheets fires the fastball away. 80 pitches unofficially for Ben tonight. 23 balls, 57 strikes. And another strikeout for Ben Sheets. You can give him 6 on the night. No surprise, 6 and 6 innings for Ben Sheets this year, averaging 9.8 strikeouts for every 9 innings of work.
Well, that curveball a little bit further out away from Derek Lee. Tried to pull that one. Strike 3.
Aramis Ramirez lined into a double play and popped to third.
The curveball that Lee banged into left field for the second run in the first inning for the Cubs, who were 3 for 4 of the runners in scoring position in the first inning, and since then have not had a man at second base, except for, of course, the home runs.
Changeup bounced in there. 1-1 the count on Aramis Ramirez, who was off to one of those great seasons a couple of years ago. It was an April day game here at Miller Park on a Thursday where he decided he was unhappy being hit by a pitch by Ben Sheets. That is a strike. It's 1-2. He headed toward the mound. As he charged, he decided to fire his helmet, and the ruckus that followed, he hurt his ankle and had a horrible year the rest of the way. It was never the same.
Yeah, and that was the year that the Pirates off to a great start in April with Aramis Ramirez on the DL. Really hurt the ball club. But he can hit. I mean, he carried this club before he got hurt.
Speaking of those Pittsburgh Pirates, do you remember the Pirates, Brewers fans, that you were looking at way down in the basement there in the National League Central? The Brewers only a half game ahead of them to start play tonight. 1 half game ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're now 47-50, just 3 games below. The Brewers trying to avoid dropping into the basement themselves. Which now there's a positive side to that. That can make you optimistic if you're a Brewers fan that, hey, if they can get it going, so can the Brewers one more time.
Well, this is certainly the worst stretch the Brewers have been in this year. I mean, there have been times this year early when you figure, oh, here we go. I mean, the Brewers are going to have a tough time, but for whatever reason, and somehow they snap out of it and start winning again. Well, that time has come. Really have struggled in the month of July.
Left the curveball up. Ramirez had to protect. Doug Davis, who is 9-6 this year with an ERA of 3.46, helping out the pitching staff, was handed a 2-year contract extension today by the Milwaukee Brewers organization, or better said, they agreed upon one with Doug and his representative. So he is in the fold. Ben Sheets, he'll be in the fold a long time. Brewers fans hope he needs. Sportsnet presented by Wisconsin Lottery. Odds are you'll like them. And by Cenex, our energy comes through. Bucketus Maximus. Uh-oh. He is ready to defend the honor of the Milwaukee Brewers tonight. And a couple of beverages hooked to his bucket helmet to protect him. They call that Bucketus Maximus Fuel at a ball game.
11 knight in shining armor.
They need one right now.
They've got one.
Well, the section has one.
Yeah.
The young man is being knighted. That young man is scared of the tool there.
I mean, that's a heck of a get up right there. I mean, that's not something you just put together in a couple hours.
And of course, the officer of the law keeping a long, hard eye on Bucketus Maximus right behind him there. 1-2 the count on Craig Counsell.
We need one of the Brewer hitters to start wielding the big sword, don't we?
Yes, we do. That changeup sinks away. 2-2 the count on Craig Counsell. He had that single, then he reached on catcher's interference at the third. Brewers trying to get anything to go to contain the Cubs. As that fastball misses away. There's the quick outburst right there. That's as much of a temper tantrum as you'll get out of Greg Maddux. One word, he reels it right back in. His brother was saying today there is something great about being composed. There's something mysterious these days about being composed all the time. That one driven into center. Corey Patterson there.
The composure can be a thing that can be, you know, sometimes misunderstood by fans and media. Sometimes a guy that's composed and on an even keel, sometimes, you know, it takes the wrong way.
Don't forget, by the way, on August 21st, the first 15,000 fans 17 and older receive a Chevrolet Brewers keychain. According to Big Brother, there are quiet moments where you will never see it, you and I will never see it, and it may be down a tunnel or it may be in a locker room where he can lose it. You know, Greg can lose it. He can, whatever all of us do when we get frustrated, but rarely, if ever, do you see it in the center of the diamond.
No, rarely, if ever, should you see it on the center of a diamond. I mean, that's not the place to lose your composure.
But guys do, Bill, now more than ever in this game.
They do. I mean, it's always about, it's an individual thing. Everybody has to make sure that everybody knows they're unhappy about something. You know, I gave up some runs because it was your fault, Mr. Umpire, that type of thing, making sure everybody's aware of it. But you know, it is intense battle out there. I mean, the game of baseball is a game of individuals going up against each other, but it's a team game, and guys get fired up.
Got him looking on the outside corner with a sinking fastball. Jenkins unhappy about that one. 5 strikeouts tonight for Maddux. Here's number 5.
Right, look at the movement on his fastball right down the outside part of the plate. I think Greg knew it. And I should say, I know Greg knew it. I think Jeff knew it as well.
Branyan gives it a drive high and deep and way out of here. Welcome to Wisconsin, Russell the Muscle. Wow. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, doesn't come as much of a surprise the way that guy can hit him. Just a matter, he's going to be able to hit him enough. My, oh my. He can pack a wallop. No doubt about it. Four-seamer right down the middle of the plate, and I think Branyan knew it. What do you think? Everybody else knew it. Look at the outfielders for the Cubs. They're just standing there watching it, admiring that one. My goodness.
For Greg Maddux, the 23rd home run he has allowed on the season. 17 of them have been solo shots, 6 of them coming with runners on. Some power out of the third base position for the Milwaukee Brewers. That's good to see. And the Skunks out of the box.
More importantly, right?
Much more importantly.
They like Lyle here, don't they?
Wow. Find myself a bit concerned. That, by the way, what he's doing there, that's the one version, the single version of the O chant that we hear at Miller Park.
You know, that O chant that you hear around the stands now, even on non-Buckethead Tuesday, was started by the Bucketheads. Make no mistake about it.
Got to feel good. He says, I'm a different man than the last couple of times I've been here in the big leagues. I'm trying to cut things down a bit. He didn't cut much down on that swing, though. It was nice to see. Got him with a changeup. But Russell Branyan attacking a pitch. Brewers cutting it to a 3-run deficit against Greg Maddux. Tape measure job. Chicago on top of Milwaukee on Sunday, August 22nd. The first 10,000 kids 16 and under receive a special Bernie Brewer back-to-school kit presented by Community Newspapers. 1-0 the count on Corey Patterson.
There's Bernie.
And the dueling bills. That's a Bernie piggy bank. It's coming up this Sunday. Is that right?
And it's unbreakable. You know, you can drop it.
Oh, I like that about it.
Yeah.
That was a changeup that bounced in there. And the count 2-1. 4 runs, 7 hits, and an error for the Cubs. Led by Greg Maddux, looking for his 299th win. 1 run on 4 hits and no errors for the Brewers. That run of support, by the way, for Ben Sheets, the first since July 10th against Cincinnati. And it was supported by a home run by Russell Branyan. That's the first run on the board. Where the world did that thing land, Bob Brainerd?
Want to give you guys a little help, a little marker. It flew over the Leinenkugel's canoe out here in right center field and hit the glass, the back of the glass of Miller Park on a fly. But, you know, hitting tape measure home runs, nothing new for Russell Branyan. He was the first guy when he was playing with the Cincinnati Reds in 2002 to hit one over that big 40-foot black monster. Remember that when they had a Synergy Field?
I do.
When they're building the new ballpark? Russell was the first one to go deep over that big black monster. He also, the year before, exhibition games with the Cleveland Indians in Venezuela, he hit a pair of home runs out of the park. Both of them measured at over 500 feet. He's legendary, guys.
Thank you, Bob. This one 440 feet. Bob's getting loose out there. 2-1 the count on Paul Bacco. Branyan had the glasses to lighten things up. Then he flipped the glasses over, put them on his cap. Now they're gone. His future's plenty bright now. He doesn't need those glasses anymore.
Well, now I think he's pretty confident the sun's not going to give him any problems now.
Jeff Jenkins coming on. Jeff Jenkins running it down for the second out. And that is it for Greg Maddux. Hitting for the Brewers lone run allowed by Greg Maddux, but he is done on this game. Dusty Baker looking for more runs goes with Tom Goodwin. Goodwin called off the bench.
Excuse me, is that young man back there? He looked like a mime. He was scaring me.
He was scaring me too. Six innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. They're shaking his hand for his efforts. This is the same Greg Maddux who makes it very clear that he wants to win games. He wants his team to win games.
Well, the Chicago Cubs are expected to win games. I mean, they're expected to have won more games than they have already this year. Very disappointing season so far for the Cubs. A lot of time to go, though. A lot of baseball to be played. Now, the one thing Dusty Baker's been able to do, though, is keep the ship together with a bunch of guys on the disabled list. Kerry Wood prior on the disabled list. Sammy Sosa was on the DL. Ramirez was out for a couple of weeks. Hubbard, I think everybody's talking wild card right now.
He lays off. San Diego right now leads the wild card race. San Francisco a game back. Chicago at 2 back. Philadelphia 3 back in the race. Cincinnati 5.5, and on and on and on. Milwaukee not in position to really talk about those things unless they get hot. They're 6.5 out. A lot of teams to hop over. Saw John Lester warming in the bullpen. Tom Goodwin today, not only pinch hitting, but celebrating a birthday. As he rolls that one into the guys who maybe gave him a card.
Looking in there like I told you I was going to foul one off in there. He's done a nice job pinch hitting this year. He came up with a big walk off the bench last night. Talk about slicing one and just barely making contact. Look at him shaking his head over there.
Wow, where's he going there? Is he thinking it's strike 3?
No, actually he thought he went. He thought he swung at the pitch. He was actually walking back to the dugout, and third base umpire Brian Gorman said no swing. I mean, you're never going to see that. I mean, when the hitter thinks he goes, the umpire's got to agree with him.
Now there's a birthday gift as he rolls the fastball out there to Lyle Overbay. 36 years old today, Tom Goodwin. Thought he was struck out. He got new life. It's It's not always about the numbers, but then again, maybe it is. We see how Greg Maddux works tonight. So fine with that command as he seeks 299 victories. An outstanding job with the soft stuff, with the hard stuff, and with the bat. How about 230 major league hits for the man? And oh, by the way, 13 gold gloves on his resume. You can look at the numbers, but to see him in person and to see him work as he is sniffing it, as they say, he's getting close. Greg Maddux, masterful tonight.
Yeah, 6 strong innings. I mean, the odds of him throwing another complete game after not doing it for a couple of years is pretty minuscule. But again, 2 back-to-back complete games and another very good outing here tonight.
That's what those fans want to see, those Cubs fans that have made the trip. John Lester comes on out of the bullpen for the 11th time this year. Time for the Brewers to get something going. They're still down by just 3. They have 3 more shots.
Well, the one thing you can say is good that the starting pitcher is out of the ball game, because the Cub bullpen has struggled this year, particularly the closer lately with Troy Hawkins. They have 3 left-handers down in that bullpen that have been doing a very good job, though. Lyndon Rush, another fine outing yesterday. They can struggle.
Brady Clark into center field. Here comes the Brew Crew.
And a couple of men on, and maybe somebody knock one out of here. Get back in the ball game.
The goal, as you mentioned, get to the bullpen. Those aren't tragic numbers, but they certainly aren't top numbers. 9th in the National League. It's the starters that run the numbers so low.
Anytime you're facing the likes of Kerry Wood and Greg Maddux, and Matt Clement and Mark Pryor, anybody else that comes into the ball game has got to be a blessing. I mean, not to say that the bullpen isn't a good one. It is, but certainly the pitchers, the stuff, not nearly as good as the starters.
Just missed outside, the right-hander. One ball and 1 strike to count on Billy. Struck out looking in the 2nd inning, grounded back to the mound in the 5th. Big breaking ball. He waves over the top of that one. All in the midst of a 7-game hitting streak. During that span, batting average nearly 400. Got him with a breaking ball.
And Billy tried to pull that one, the breaking ball on the outer half of the plate. Bill Hall with 2 strikes, still trying to pull it. You can see the front shoulder leaking out. But that's a good quick breaking ball for Lester. Good pitch, good location with 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's a pitch that has slider break on it, but curveball tilt. Straight down and hard. Chad Moeller is singled in this game. He needed that. That snapped an 0 for 10 skid he was in. Runs would do the Brewers nicely. That would earn them a victory. They've scored 5 or more runs in just 4 games this month. 4 of their 24 games. 3-1 in those games. A 10-9 victory in Colorado. That was a doozy on July 1st. 5-0 win against Cincinnati on the 10th of July. And 7-6 victory against Houston this past weekend, in which they beat Roger Clemens. Those are the wins in which they have scored 5 or more runs. It's only happened 4 times this month. Of course, Chad Moeller hit for the cycle on a Buckethead Brigade Tuesday in April against the Cincinnati Reds. That helps the average.
4 hits in the game, that's going to help any kind of an average. And Chad Moeller looked like he was able to hold up. Or did they call it?
It was called by the home plate umpire, Dale Scott. Didn't ask for help. Let's see.
Let's see. Pretty close.
Behind home plate, you had Bach Rocco asking for the appeal. Scott said, "I'll do you one better. Strike two."
Don't need the help.
Here's that tight breaking ball. 2-2 the count on Chad. See if they go get Ben Sheets right here. Yes, he walks back toward the dugout. So we talk about tonight's tavern of the game. It ain't heaven in Milwaukie. It ain't heaven. If the tavern contact calls the Brewers by midnight at 414-902-4572, it ain't heaven. Or receive 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen, courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and courtesy of Miller Lite.
A good fish in Milwaukie. Eagle Springs, Phantom Lake.
Baker sees the left-hander. Brooks Kieschnick announced. I would imagine he has a left-handed option of his own. He calls to the bullpen, goes with that left-handed option. Ben Sheets, 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, no walks, 4 earned runs. Veteran Merker coming on. 4-1, Chicago on top. Brewers trying to get something, anything going. Trying to hang the Cubs out to dry there, by the way. That's what's going on selected home dates. Fans using their MasterCard receive 4 field outfield box seats and $20 in concessions for only $75. They call them MasterCard Grand Slam dates. So it's not Brooks Kieschnick. Instead, it's right-handed batter Wes Helms to face left-handed hurler and veteran Ken Merker, who's done a fine job kind of resurrecting his career the last few years.
Well, last time the Brewers saw Merker, he gave up a couple of base hits. Last 2 times that Merker came to the game against Milwaukee.
Wes Helms lifts it to right. Wes Helms is retired. Miller for president of Beers. Bucketus Maximus, our Buckethead fan of the game, will receive a $100 gift certificate right here at the ballpark to Friday Front Row Sports Grill. Hope to see you at the ballpark. Nice job by him. And then we also remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers. Burba Maximus comes on out of the bullpen. He's done a nice job this year. Talk about another guy like Kent Merker resurrecting his career.
Yes, indeed. And Ned Yost has had a tough time getting some of his guys out in the bullpen some work. And Dave Burba, one of them, hadn't pitched a whole lot in the second half.
One 1-0 the count on Todd Walker. Brewers trying to rally. Greg Maddux trying to win number 299. Last National Leaguer to win his 300th game. If he holds on, Greg will have a chance in 5 days with Steve Carlton on September 23rd, 1983. Since then, 5 American Leaguers have earned their 300th win during that span. Tom Seaver with Chicago in '85. Phil Niekro with New York in '85. Don Sutton with the Angels in '86. I remember that one. Nolan Ryan with Texas in '90. Roger Clemens with New York in '03. It's been an American League thing of late. Greg Maddux trying to turn that tide. Struck out back in the 5th inning, had that homer and a double, couple of runs scored. That is a foul ball. Wow.
I thought it hit right on top of that line. Ramon Armendariz, the first base umpire, got a couple of tough calls in yesterday's ball game. I mean, that left field, the right field and left field lines are patted down very firm, so they don't have to be chalked every day. And that looked like it. I tell you, really can't tell. You're not going to see any chalk jump up. It's almost like a paste down there. They really pound it down. On a lot of fields, you'll see some chalk go up. That's no help here.
That one on the ground. Counsell throws out a Walker. Walker just spins back around, doesn't make an issue of it anymore. 4 runs, 7 hits, and an error for the Cubs. A run on 5 hits and no errors for the Brewers. Gonzalez fouled that one back. We saw Dusty Baker a moment ago, and Dusty, of course, on deck when Hank Aaron hit his record-setting home run. They were teammates with the Atlanta Braves. The question that all of the Chicago Riders and all of us around, what is the effect that 299 and 300 can have on your team? Is it positive? And he said, well, first of all, it is, because Maddux is a selfless guy. I mean, if you have a selfless guy, it's positive. And he said, look, if I was playing, I would want my name on that lineup card. That's the bottom line, and I would want to contribute to 299 or 300. I would take pride in that personally.
Well, you know, certainly the media, you know, not that it's not enough. I mean, there's plenty of media around the Chicago Cubs everywhere they go, but it's going to be a little bit more intense. You know, with Maddux's next start, it's probably been a little bit more intense in his last couple of starts, and it's all a matter of, as you talked about, how the guy who's in the center of the spotlight handles it. Sammy Sosa's 500th home run, a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, Kerry Wood a few years ago with 20 strikeouts. I mean, those things that's big time stuff.
Verba sits down Gonzalez. If nothing changes, should the Brewers not be able to rally, Greg Maddux would go for 300 Sunday in Chicago against the Philadelphia Phillies. Great seats still available.
Are there?
No.
I don't think so.
No seats available. Swing from the bat of Sammy Sosa. The count is 0-2. Out of the great baseball factory, San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. And he went around. Verba got him with a high fastball. Let's see if the Brewers can spoil the and rocking tonight, trying to get something going. Don't forget, we want to see you at Fantasy Camp this coming winter. It's a 1982 World Series reunion in Phoenix, Arizona. 262-679-3612. 679-3612. We'll see you in Arizona. Check out for more information on MilwaukeeBrewers.com under the fan forum section. Ought to be a lot of fun. Mark Rizolani is now at second base. Merker stays on for one reason. Sednick, Counsell, Jenkins, Branyan, Overbay.
That's it.
That's actually, what, 5 reasons?
That's 5 lefties in a row. You know, certainly that's been a problem for Ned Yost ever since Junior Spivey's been out of the lineup. Doesn't like to back the lefties up one after the other, but that's the way the lineup shakes out.
Rolled back to the mound. Sednick, the first out here in the 8th inning.
He did tinker around with having Brady Clark in the number 2 spot. That looked like it was working out because Craig does pretty well in the 8th hole.
That guy's missed.
Yeah, he is. I mean, really, really missed. I mean, he's been swinging the bat pretty well for the Brewers. Out indefinitely. Still not throwing, still not hitting, still getting some treatment every day. I would imagine somewhat concerned.
The count on Craig Counsell. By the way, Counsell reaching a couple of innings ago in the 3rd on catcher's interference. The 5th time. The National League record set by Dale Barrett at 7 in 1983. with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got a shot at that for darn sure, and the major league record set by Roberto Kelly, Bobby Kelly, whatever name he's going by these days, with the Yankees in 1992. Was he a Brewer too?
No.
I knew you'd set me straight on that. He had other tie-ins, I think, in Wisconsin. 2-1 the count. Counsell goes the other way. There's a base hit. Those are big when you're down 3.
Now, particularly with the meteor order coming up, Jenkins branding over base. Somebody hit one on out of here. Ideal. Jenkins is able to get on, and then Bradlin go yard. Tied up.
We want to make sure you join us tomorrow. Same 2 teams. Border wars continue. It's going to be a tall mountain to climb. Kerry Wood trying to continue to stifle the Brewers offense. Chris Capuano, the lefty. ERA of just over 3.5. He's been a good one. Jenkins down off the end of the bat. Will it die in center field? No. Diving play, Corey Patterson.
Cubs can do no wrong tonight. I mean, that was a pretty good play. I mean, that ball off the end of the bat. Corey Patterson frozen out there in center field, not knowing the ball was on the end. And with that good speed, able to make up for it, make a nice catch. Corey Patterson plays a relatively deep center field. As center fielders go, normally your center fielder plays as shallow as anybody out there.
Russell Branyan gets into one, but got under it. The Brewers come up empty one more time. We've played 8 at Miller Park. Greg Maddux 3 outs away from 299 wins. Crowd having a good time here tonight. A lot of them Cubs fans. It's a 4-1 score. Greg Maddux closer to 300 victories. He's out of the game. His bullpen trying to lock it up for him. We talked with his catcher Paul Bacco about, since he's gotten close, is he sniffing it? Is he a different man as he gets closer to 300?
Same old guy every day at the ballpark and every 5th day when he gets his turn to pitch. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to sink in a whole lot for him, maybe after the fact or a couple years down the line when he's you know, sitting back and saying, wow, you know, this is what I did. But right now, man, I really believe that he's out there trying to win each ball game that he's pitching and trying to help us get to the playoffs more so than he's worried about his individual, you know, numbers.
I seriously doubt that the ultimate goal for Greg Maddux this year is to win his 300th win. I think he wants to go to postseason. There's a lot of work to do after that 300th win comes around.
You bet.
I mean, it's not all over after that happens. I imagine it'll be a sigh of relief, and then he'll go on with his life. People leave him alone.
Well, it hits close to home, so I think of my memories when I was, 16 years old when my father won his 300th game, and the Angels that year in 1986 were certainly in a pennant race all season long, and the exact thing that happened is what you said. A lot of focus paid to one man and his milestone. When it was over, he had to go on and win 15 games that year, and his teammates had to win so they could make it to the postseason.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal for Greg Maddux.
Moises Alou draws a leadoff walk. Eric Lee singled a run in the first inning. Wide to center field and struck out. Old Glove caliber first base has been red hot over the last month, as we mentioned earlier. Baker theorizing that those that are physically strong like Lee and take good care of themselves, if they hit their stride in July, August, and September, they will actually add a little bit more to their totals because pitchers are a little bit more tired, and according to Dusty, some fielders have lost a step at that point in the season. Interesting theory.
Yeah. Some would say that hitters' bats slow down too, though. I mean, it all goes hand in hand, not just pitchers and fielders affected by that, but a lot of guys, you know, in baseball will go to a lighter bat in August and September. They don't feel as strong.
162 games. All of you know it. Just to remind yourself of how long a baseball season actually is.
Another couple of weeks and they go into what they call the dog days. Latter part of August, September, weather's still pretty hot. And you just hope that you have the playoffs, or at least the possibility of getting to the playoffs, which makes the dog days that much better. I mean, at least it's they give you something to go to the ballpark for every day.
On the ground, into left field, kicks off the glove of Counsell. Let's see. Lou with the big turn. He stays right there. Great effort by Craig, but he couldn't haul it in. He wouldn't have been able to do anything with it. He's got 2 hits on the night.
Ned Yost does have activity in that bullpen down there. Just off the fingers of the glove for Craig Counsell. He was shaded up the middle to turn the double play. Just couldn't get there.
So with nobody out, runners on first and second, this is where Dave Burba this year is just not buckled. He's come in and jams that others have created. He has created his own jams and has managed to make a lot of big-time pitches.
He's a ground ball right here. Not too many outs on the ground tonight by the Brewer pitching staff. Now's the time for one.
That's why he works it down below the knees of Aramis Ramirez. Lou gets back. That one trickles away, but not far enough. Runners in scoring position. Dave Burba sees the opponent's batting average drop to .212. Opponents overall hitting just 2 1/4 on the season. That's on the outside corner. Waiting on deck. 4 runs, 8 hits, and an error for the visiting Chicago Cubs. A run on 6 hits and no errors for the Brewers. Pittsburgh beat Atlanta tonight 8-4. Both catchers home at Estrada and Kendall. 8-4. Pittsburgh won that one. Another pickoff play just back.
Lou probably figuring, what are you guys trying to pick me off for? I mean, I'm not going to steal. Hey, remember last time he stole a base? I guess maybe trying to keep him close in the event of a base hit into the outfield. This is calling time, collecting himself, shaking off the dirt. Maybe taking a breath or two. He does have 3 stolen bases. I stand corrected.
And none of them were third, though. 3-1 the count. The Mets lead Montreal 4-2. That's in the top of the 9th inning. Cameron has homered for the Mets. They've got to get it going. For you Mets fans out there. Florida leading Philadelphia 3-2. That game heading into the 9th. It's being delayed by rain, though. Lowell, his 22nd. 3-2 Florida leading it. Good slider. 3-2 the count.
Yeah, Ramirez trying to hit one on out of here to left field, and Burr threw him a 3-1 slider. Good pitch. You see a different Ramirez on this pitch, the 3-2 pitch.
Jason Marquis pitched 7 shutout innings, and St. Louis shut out Cincinnati 6-0. Lytle knocked around a bit in that ball game. 6-0 the final in that one. Sanders and Edmonds homer. Jim Edmonds now has 26 home runs. Pickoff play again, and again he's back in.
Ron Coble over there at second base. That one looked pretty close. Not only to Bill Hall, of course, he does that just about all the time when it's a close call over there, but Burba showing a little bit of a reaction. Boy, I'll tell you what, that's pretty close. I mean, Coble not in a very good spot. It looked like Billy was blocking him off.
Do it again with a 3-2 count. We've noticed that about Bill Hall, and it's not a direct argument, although we have seen some umpires take offense to it. It's just passionate.
Enthusiasm. Yeah, he wants it. I like that.
I do too.
I like a guy that shows some emotion out there. Sometimes you get sick of that deadpan, you know, that business-like suitcase mentality or briefcase mentality.
I'll take a spin on why I like it right now. And it's not the case, and it's unfair when it happens. But when a team doesn't hit, they look lifeless.
Yes, they do. Yep.
And it's not that they're not trying. It's not that they're not yelling in the dugout, cheering, or whatever teams do in the dugout. But when they don't hit, they look lifeless. That's one reason I like that.
And you know what? A lot of people say, you know, they look flat.
That's a great word.
You know, they look flat just because they're not hitting. They're not doing anything else that makes them look flat. Well, you're right. You hit the nail right on the head.
So that's where that energy and emotion's okay. Another pickoff play. That one into center field. Went to the well one too many times. One too many times. Bill, the one was very close, but you know, you nailed it on the head 5 minutes ago when you said, why? Why so much?
I don't know. Maybe Bill Hall trying to help his pitcher out, trying to get him an out that throws on the money that might have him. Maybe when you spend so much time worrying about the man at second base, how much time can you possibly be spending your concentration on the hitter?
A hitter, by the way, who has 62 RBIs after missing 2 weeks of injury. Now the Brewers have to draw the infield in. Reaching, that won't get it done. 1 out. Big out right there.
Man, they have the opportunity to walk Corey Patterson and maybe set up the double play. Let's see what the Brewers elect to do. This is where you would love to have a left-hander in that bullpen. The Brewers have not had a lefty in their bullpen all season long.
Castro, bullpen coach, has the lineup inside of that cap, and anytime a pitcher wants to know the next couple of hitters, should he go in, Billy goes right to it. That's what's going on there.
You know, well aware that Corey Patterson, you know, he's got good speed. Paul Bacco, a left-handed hitter, but right here, you know, Corey Patterson's run doesn't mean a whole lot. So you put him on first base, set up the double play, and hopefully Paul Bacco hits a ground ball at somebody.
Fewest intentional walks handed out. We had a long discussion about it last night. Handed out by the Milwaukee Brewers. This is a situation in which it's got to be done, Bill.
Oh yeah. Well, Ned Yost will do it, but you know he'll only do it when he absolutely has to, and this is a good time to do it. You bet.
Bacco tonight has grounded to first, grounded back to the box, and flied to left field. And they're going to make a call and go with Michael Barrett. Barrett, who has had a fine offensive year, Dusty Baker saying, "You finish it up, kid." Driving a few runs to boot.
Still a good move to walk Corey Patterson. I mean, now you have the luxury of having a right-handed hitter up there.
Barrett's been hovering around 300 all year long. And a big-time pep talk here from Mike Maddux. The former Montreal Expo, who was a member of the A's for 1 day on December 15th until he was traded to the Chicago Cubs. And now Dave Burba's taken out of this ball game. I would imagine Maddux making the change here. It's the first time I've ever seen that happen.
Yeah.
Interesting. Bennett comes on. Hey, young buckethead. Got any advice for a young up-and-coming relief pitcher on how to get out of a big-time jam when your club must have you do it? We look to you for vision. Share it with Jeff Bennett. His ERA of 4.44. And an interesting thing, Bill, Mike Maddux came out. Maybe he came out with the intention of taking out Dave Burba. He eventually took out Dave Burba. That's the first time we, since those coaches and manager have taken over, have made a move like that.
Yeah, not sure why. Maybe they changed their mind as they went out there, but no, Burba had thrown a fair amount of pitches, and it's a big point in the ball game. You'd like to see a fresh pitcher out there. Hopefully Bennett's going to be able to throw one of those sliders and have Barrett try and pull it and get a ground ball double play. It might have been a pitch count situation for Burba out there.
Here's Michael Barrett with the bases loaded. There's the slider missing wide of the plate.
Now, what I mean by pitch count, not that they wanted to take him out after an X amount of pitches, but he might have lost some stuff. Not as sharp.
37 pitches thrown, by the way, by the right-hander. That kicks away. That'll score a run. Ouch. Not what they envisioned when they made that move.
And that ball looked like it fooled Chad Moeller because he really never got down to block it. Might have had such a late sharp break that it fooled him. Didn't expect it to go in the dirt. Check it out. This is not the way Chad Moeller ordinarily goes after. That was a fastball. That's why. Very rarely do you see a catcher have the ability, or is he quick enough to get down in the dirt for a fastball. He just gets there too quick.
3-0 the count on Michael Barrett. Ben Sheets, 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Three and 1 to count. More than 40,000 on hand again tonight. Another sellout here at Miller Park.
A bit surprised they're not walking Barrett to set up a double play. I mean, you just can't give up any more runs if you have any chance to come back. But that might be why Jose Macias has been a pretty good hitter this year.
High fly ball, deep right field, but playable. Freddie Clark's been throwing well of late. His throw goes to third, and it's not in time. Another run, 6-1. Sac fly and an RBI by Barrett. He'll finish up behind the plate.
A lot of fly ball outs given up by the Brewer pitching staff here today. There's only been 7 ground ball outs between Sheets, Burba, and Bennett. that's pretty much a dangerous proposition when you got a team up there that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
It's been a tough go of it this month for Jeff Bennett. April ERA 4.09, May 2.57, June 3.86, July 8.10. 10 innings of work. Speaking of balls going into the air, in 10 innings of work, he's allowed 5 home runs. To remind ourselves that he is a Rule 5 selection. And that one kicks away. And another run scores.
How'd that not hit him? Well, the bases were loaded with 1 out. And without a base hit, only 1 ball put in play, 3 runs scored. Another wild pitch. 2 wild pitches to score a run and a sac fly. I'm not sure how that missed Jose Macias.
Two balls and 2 strikes to count on Jose. Cubs lead it 7-1. Big strikeout for Bennett. Way too late. Seven to 1 the score. Chicago on top of Milwaukee. Certainly glad you've been with us tonight. Been a tough night for the Milwaukee Brewers. We remind you about the next great thing in sports entertainment. Back tonight with IMAX. Max takes on the world to find out if Chris Benson is on the verge of being traded to the Twins, and if it happens, will that make Minnesota a contender for the series? Plus, talks about the upcoming fight between Shaq O'Neal and light heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver. Shaquille O'Neal's fighting Antonio Tarver? I didn't know that.
It's got to be a war of words, huh?
Don't miss IMAX coming up at 10 on FSN North. Kyle Farnsworth. As Dusty Baker said, you want to get your name in that box score and on that lineup card as contributing. That's what Kyle Farnsworth will try to do. It's not a save. It's just 3 outs. But 3 outs to wrap up what will be Greg Maddux's 299th victory. The Brewers have been no match for the Cubs and Maddux tonight. Lyle Overbay leads it off. Freddie Clark waits on deck. A changeup of all things for the man who can nearly throw 100.
Yeah.
Maybe that was in honor of Greg.
How do you look at that? How do you look for that pitch?
This one's for you, number 31. The O's are going. That one misses inside. This game, Greg Maddux in his career in 12 starts against Milwaukee, an 8-2 record, by the way, and an ERA of 1.19. Maddux tonight went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He walked 1. He struck out 6. Gave up the home run to Russell Branyan, which at new measurement was 480 feet, but it only counted for 1 run. Your thoughts on Greg tonight?
He's outstanding again. Back-to-back starts against Milwaukee, a 9-inning complete game shutout, and he gave up 1 run here tonight. That was a Russell Branyan home run. What can you say? I mean, the guy was dealing all night. And as you talked about, as he gets closer to 300, I know the Cubs are going to be hoping that he's going to be able to keep this intensity throughout the year and not have a letdown after that 300th win. I doubt that'll happen with Greg Maddux.
I agree. You talk to Ned Yost, he'd be stunned if it happened. That one misses inside. And Yost saying before the game about Greg Maddux, he said he is as level-headed of a guy that you have ever come across. He said, I watched him for 10 years. When he's right, it just amazes you. what he can do and how on he is in with his command and his mechanics. His mechanics are so precise that when they're locked in, he can throw pitch after pitch after pitch in exactly the location he wants to.
Making it very easy on the catcher, doesn't it? Guy just sits back there and catches it, as opposed to the guy that started last night. He could be a real chore back there, Matt Clement. He's a lot better than he used to be, but he's still got some great stuff. And Matt Clement over there with Kerry Wood, two guys that have pretty good arms.
Those are some blessed right arms there. Wicked stuff as that one misses outside. You know, both Ned Yost, and I listened to the media talk with Ned, and Dusty Baker fielded the same question about Greg Maddux. Why the ERA at 5.65 in the month of April? And both had the exact same answer as if they had had lunch together. And it's an obvious one. When you get a little bit older and you're 38 years old, sometimes, especially when you're a mechanical type pitcher, it takes a while to lock in. Both of them, like they had a script, had the exact same answer. Probably because they both dealt with him an awful lot. 2 outs.
And a lot of times if you're going to get to him, you have to get to him early in the game. Once they do lock in, see you later.
Brewers had the bases loaded in the first, had 2 runners on with just 1 out. Great Counsell reached in the third. They didn't get to him early, and that was it. Bill Hall, last chance. It may be happening tonight. It may be happening in moments. Tom Glavine of the Mets has 258 wins. Randy Johnson of the Diamondbacks 240. David Wells of the Padres 206. It is very logical to believe, and it's not unfair to say that some of those guys might not get there. Greg Maddux will get there, and it may be Sunday. One and one the count.
Tom Glavine throwing the best baseball of his career, perhaps. I mean, as far as ERA goes, I mean, maybe not his career, but in a long time, and just not getting any wins. That doesn't help his cause.
As for the Brewers, they're in danger of dropping to 3-10 since the All-Star break. 1-2 the count. And what has been a very disappointing second half and a very disappointing stretch against Central Division teams this month. Cubs trying to make some noise in this ballpark and in the wild card race. Into center field. Greg Maddux is 1 win away from 300 victories. With his 6 innings and his 79 pitches, he carved up the Brewer bats and has 299 victories in his major league career against just 170 losses. Dusty Baker all smiles. The Cubs all smiles because that's their teammate, a Potawatomi player of the game, Greg Maddux. Your thoughts?
Well, control right out of the gates. I mean, if you're going to get to him, you have to get him early, and the Brewers weren't able to do it. 6 innings, 4 hits. The only run, a home run by Russell Branyan. 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. Really, and to boot, he can fill his position pretty well. Got a base hit. Greg Maddux.